Welcome back to another JC. We are back into the 5v5 swing of things. This is our first match, and I think we might just lose this because there's currently an update that just happened where everything is crashing. So that kind of is a stinker, but we're still going to give this our best shot. I'm not going to have time to do this tomorrow if they are able to fix this, so going all in on this, it is what it is. So looking at our opponent's roster, we actually do have a pretty solid overall advantage on him. He does have more relic levels than us by about 100, but we have him beat pretty strongly in GEC Omicron. As you can see here, that's not a thin margin. We have about 4 more, and honestly, it's closer to 5 with the amount, how active Darth Malgus' second one is there. I guess this is 5v5, so it regains a little bit of viability. But yeah, we have him beat pretty solid on mods, twice the amount of plus 25s. Only about 40 more plus 20s and 100 more. Exactly, that's kind of cool. Plus 15. So overall, I don't know if we really have the advantage though. Like, I know this number says we do, but they have profundity and we don't. So that is just a little skeptical if I'm being 100% honest. But getting back to the actual board here, our opponent has put down a pretty thick defense. He's got multiple Galactic Legends, JMK, JML, Malgus, and Ray with the Dashikron. This is the good one, by the way. It's the one that has, where he's going to be taking a turn every single time. So that's going to be a little bit iffy to get through. There's also a lot of damage, or rather a lot of armor ignore on that one. And then up top isn't, like, it's okay. Starkiller's good. Grand Inquisitor's actually going to be really big pain in the butt with this now. And then we also have to deal with Radis, which that actually should be very easy, especially with that hair comp in there. Our defense, we haven't done this exactly before, so I'll talk about this for a second. But basically what we're doing is we're trying to front load everything, all of our good teams here. And our bottom wall is actually a little bit weaker because I'm trying to entice especially these profundity orders, which I think is every single one in my bracket except me, to go for bottom and not to go for the Ray Dashikron, the JMK, the Starkiller, the Palp Squad, which this one, I like this, but I'm pretty sure even with the level 9 Datacron, Malik, and Savagikron, it probably just gets SLKR'd. So I'm gonna have to rethink my life on that one, and then our back wall's garbage. So, and now we're gonna go ahead and get to the battle. So when we go into attack, we are still dealing with the whole maybe everything's just gonna crash on us. So I'm a little hesitant in a lot of the battles, but it's just kind of like, what are you gonna do? I can't make it not crash, and I don't have solutions. Yeah, there's no real way around it, so we're just jumping right into this. I don't know if we mentioned this in the intro, but I didn't have another time to do this. So we go and take in JML versus JMK, and this is honestly quite refreshing. This counter has been botched, kinda. It kind of worked, actually, with Datacrons, but in a very weird way. This counter, we haven't been able to run it in this form for about 4 months now, or something like that. So we go first. We don't land ability block on JMK. That typically is, it's not great. And we actually have to do this a really weird way. We have to mark Cat and burn both Savior and kill Cat within the first couple of moves because, or sorry, not Cat, OG Ahsoka. And we didn't do that to Cat specifically because she was modded for full health. And you'll see that here, it's actually really stinking hard to kill her. But if we can get OG Ahsoka down, we can slow them down significantly so that even, once we both hit our ults, we'll have a good shot at killing Cat because they won't be healing nearly as much because she won't be constantly getting called in to assist and whatnot. So we go ahead, we get our ult, we kill their OG Ahsoka. Grandmaster Yoda is the tank for this team, which is kind of funny because the AI prioritizes him when they can ignore taunt. So our Jedi Knight Revan or Jolie or really anyone else more important doesn't get killed. And yeah, trying to get Cat down, and gosh, she is thick. Like, I know Padme doesn't help, but still. So we do eventually get Cat down, and from here it's game. They can't do anything, even if they can keep killing a character or two every now and then. Jolie's going to be able to revive them, or we could probably just beat him with that. I'm pretty sure from this point on, I've won with just Jedi Knight Luke and Jedi Master Luke himself, so not really a whole lot going on. We get rid of Padme just so we don't have to deal with her annoying protection up every single time we're calling in someone to assist. And then we don't go after Mace immediately just because he had damage immunity, and then we do go after him and kill him quite easily. So yeah, not only do we get to do that, but now I'm like, okay, I guess we're going to focus on banners. So I'm trying to call in all the characters that specifically need protection, and I'm like, okay, so Grandmaster Yoda has healing immunity, so you can't call him for protection, so we ultimately switched him so that he drops it, and then we just can't kind of keep calling him in, and we end up getting a full 74 here on this team, which is that's really good. So I left too much on defense, and I don't have a Galactic Legend to beat Malgus with, so we're going for a 2-shot here, and this is risky. We've gotten this to work actually a ton of times. but it's just not foolproof. If Giant Anakin lands with fear on himself, or even the 2-turn stun, or another third scenario that we're going to see here soon, this doesn't work. And by the way, this was not meant to counter the team 100%. This was meant to kill Talon, Bastila Vaughn, and Darth Revan if possible. We've killed Malik before, but really can't count on this. So this sucks. Our AoE's on cooldown because we got feared. And not only that, but our only target is Malik. So we get super damage for about 2 turns, and we don't get the second turn because we got feared. So that was really unfortunate. So we didn't get super damage, so we were only able to kill Talon. And this, I'm not surprised by this, but it's still really sad. Like, Bastila was this close from dying. She's only R5. She's not really modded for survivability, but just with the sheer amount of debuffs, because of Malgus' lead, she's able to heal more than we can do damage, which we throw away our CLS team there, which I guess is kind of okay. They weren't going to do much else with this defense. So now we're going to go ahead and take in our SLKR and just this kind of whatever team versus the Rey. And honestly, like, I kind of like it, because if we can swipe once or twice on Dash, he's going to have low enough mastery that he's not actually going to be able to kill SLKR. And then it's just kind of, you know, SLKR versus Rey as a normal match, where we're just hoping that we can survive long enough and get to her ult while she's in her ult so we don't get blown up. So I'm pondering what to do here a little bit. Kind of just burned a minute. I'm almost thinking we should have left Fu out of this entirely, because with him there, it gave Dash an extra turn that he wouldn't have had otherwise. But so, like I said, we're able to get around to Dash, we're able to siphon him, and we're able to pretty consistently keep him at low mastery. So even though he's taking a turn every single time, and honestly doing a bunch of not fun things as a whole, he's not doing that much damage, or at least he's not at a certain point here. So this was actually very nice. Rey gets her ult while we still had 4 characters standing. So SLKR took a much reduced variation of the damage. We're able to tank things pretty well so far. I'm trying to save, again, our ult for when Rey has her next one. And BB-8 really messes this up here. Not only does he give turn meter to swap things up, but he also he gives everyone more damage and speed up. And yeah, it's not good. BB-8 really, he ruins my day here. So I'm doing the math here. I'm like, okay, so if we use the middle ability, speed up will be gone. Rey has reduced speed in ultimate, so we should be able to loop around to our next ultimate when it comes. Sorry, let's just do that, and that's exactly what happens. We're able to loop into our ultimate. Now Rey will get her ultimate. We will completely dodge it, and I think we'll probably be fine, because we stacked a lot of damage right now that we should recover a pretty significant amount of health whenever we hit them. And again, reducing their mastery pretty consistently. They're not doing much damage now. And BB-8 completely ruins my day. Rey got her ult. We were going to have just enough turn meter to be able to do it ourselves. And then BB-8 gave her 100% turn meter, and she wiped out my SLKR. And that was pretty much our hope at full clearing. So now we're going ahead and use General Grievous versus their Starkiller team. Not really much to write home about this one. I guess one thing that is important, since B2 isn't getting turns, we had to get rid of the damage immunity with Newt, even though GK didn't have extortion on him. So that way we're able to kind of free ourselves up, hit other targets, spread target lock around, do all that fun stuff. I started going for Visas for some reason. Like, I know her revive is important to make sure it doesn't happen, but not entirely sure we're doing that. And B2 just takes forever to get buff immunity. Yeah, and that, it's not a game over, but it really slows us down as a whole here. And we do kill Visas, we do kill Mara, and our team's pretty resilient here as far as things go. And then, yeah, we actually kill him. And GK is probably the hardest variation of this team for Grievous to go against in GAC. So, I mean, I'm happy with it, but that fight just never goes the same way. It almost always wins, but it never really feels consistent. So now we're going to go ahead and take out this Adrad team with our Bad Batch. Doesn't really scare me that much, particularly because the comp is... This is... I don't know how to word this without being disrespectful. This is the garbage comp. This is what everyone's going to be setting that invested nothing else into Rogue One except for profundity. And it's actually okay, you know. Bad Batch is a pretty good team for me, so it's not a complete loss, but at the same time, I'm not really worried about this. If they had, say, some other clutch characters like Chert or Baze, or even SRP would probably be a step up, then I would be a little more afraid. But Hera's 5th doesn't really do many favors for them. This is kind of gross. So we've been pretty consistently using Traya against the Inquisition, and our trio is gear 12. Traya, Cyan, and Nihilus are all gear 12, and they just keep beating the tar out of Inquisitors. And this is obviously the Inquisitors are relic because they have to be able to unlock Grand. But they even have a Datacron here. Like, they have the Empire Datacron that gives them stacking offense throughout the turns. Granted, the cooldown increase would have been much better. It probably would have completely stopped this counter in general. But still, like, my Gear 12 characters with Maul, like OG Maul, like Darth Maul, are still beating you, even though you have a quote-unquote bad Datacron. Like, that's... I don't know, man. I hope Reva brings good things for the Inquisition. And I know you can... you could get a lot more out of them on offense than letting someone beat them with your Gear 12 tray on defense. But yeah, it just still, it's a little shocking, I guess. I would at least expect that I would have to match your gear, but the fact that I can underdog is the right word. But I can punch up with a team that came out several years before it's a little weird. But anyways, yeah, so that's the Datacron, if anyone was wondering what was in it. They had the stacking offense, the stacking crit damage, which again, if this were the cooldown one where Grand could probably just spam his AoE every turn, which does a decent amount of damage, we probably would have lost, I imagine. So yeah, we're able to auto the rest of that one, take our 56 and call it a day. Gonna go ahead and use Wampa now. We're trying to clear the top wall just so we can actually have a chance. I do not have fleets in this right now because fleets were one of the main things that were bugged, and that wasn't fixed until today, so I had to do those attacks in my lunch break. And I guess when we go into the review, I'll make a comment about those. But yeah, Wampa does Wampa things here. This is a little sketchy just because the bros, I believe it's versus hero Poe, on when he gets inspired, they all do like max health damage, which for Wampa is a very big deal. He's not immune to it, and he gets a lot of boosts, not only from his max or from his protection up or bonus protection, whichever one it is. He also gets a boost from the Omicron itself. This is fun. So, yeah, Vader, Watt, and our boy Piet here. I don't even think we needed Watt to make this work, quite honestly. But so we have the good Darth Vader Datacron. We have the level 6 where he, decreases cooldowns and whatnot. Every single time he gets a certain amount of debuffs. And on top of that, we have the revive, which you guys already saw. Giant Luke would have killed us, but he didn't. I do really like Piet here. You'll see his damage is necessary from Emperor's track stacking up on the two of them. But what we're doing here right now is, and I don't think we do this the best, but we're trying to make sure we don't kill all the characters, and we're also trying to make sure we use the AoE as much as possible. But there are situations where we need to basic, because the ability block on basic, which is the debuff, can't be resisted against Jedi. So if I see that I really need to get back to Merciless Massacre, I'm about to run out here, then I I try to basic, because part of Jedi Master Luke's kit is he gives tenacity up to the allies once they dip like 80% health or something to that effect. So yeah, that's what we're trying to do throughout this whole process here, and it's going well for the most part. We have killed 2 allies. We only have about 35 dots, and he has crit immunity now, so that's not looking too hot. And I'm pretty sure that, the sides will just kind of die. That's fine. But JML is not going to die to dots. He's immune, reduced damage, basically immune. So now we've got everything lined up. All right, let's see how much damage we do. Get him down to yellow. Good, not what I want, but still decent. All right, let's ability block him, make sure he doesn't do anything stupid to us here. Oben kind of kills over Giant Luke, then kills over. I'm like, okay, so the nice thing about Vader lead here is actually our dots get put back on him. So if we get another shot at Merciless here, he still has 37 dots. He doesn't have crit immunity, and he gets whacked. So that is going to be the match for the most part. Unfortunately, so like I said, I did ships at work, and I got, honestly, pretty bad RNG on this. So Malevolence worked fine here, as always. First Order did not do well here. We only killed Jedi Anakin. I don't think there were really any key RNG factors in that fight. I guess Y-Wing hitting a certain target and giving turn meter kind of did pose me a little bit. But Radis cleaned up really well, even though without being fully upgraded, so that was nice. And then for here, Rebels did super well. They got it just down to Houndstooth and Slave One. They almost killed Slave One. Almost killed him, and then Executor healed. And then Houndstooth, we tried to take in a Thrawn Scrubs team to annihilate him, but Slave One got the bomb off and wiped out my entire team. right before my Thrawn would have gotten his Annihilate on House 2. So that was super annoying. I don't even have any fleets left. And our opponent, he actually struggled quite a bit. I'm curious to which 4 teams these were, because he left all of my Galactic Legends up top untouched. Like JMK Ray and whoever else is here. Yeah, see, he didn't even attempt them. So I'm guessing the bulk of his teams went into Lord Vader, and then of course he chewed through my garbage and back. So we lost this one. This is a little sad. Like we didn't have any crashes per se, but I feel like if we would have had Bam available, because he was one of those that was involved in the crashes, my bounty hunters at some point might have done better here. I threw them in here later on, but yeah, it is what it is. We'll take the L. Hopefully CG will get their act together when we won't have crashes, and I will honestly think more through on my planning, because I put way too much on defense. But until the next time, guys, thanks for watching, and stay awesome.